or to be at peace or to be self-expressed or whatever than we normally do in our regular lives. And so I think that what happens when I do the process that I do to paint people is I call it the heart of the matter interview. And it's a really powerful conversation which looks at who you are, and it looks at it through just a few simple questions, really. One of them is, what do you love to do? And why do you love to do it? And we just explore deeply, like what's available when you're doing something that you love. It doesn't have to be important. It's just when you're doing something you love, you're in touch with that part of yourself that's bigger. That's what I say. And when I explore with people who they get to be when they're doing this thing they love, it's inevitably, or invariably, I guess I want to say, as we tease it out, they start to see certain qualities that are there throughout their life, but they don't normally have access to them. And we also look at I work at looking at people at various peak experiences they've had in their life, what they love to do, and also what challenges they've had, the difficulties they've had, and what's the gift they got from them. And it's amazing to me how people always have a gift they got from it. Like I work with families as well as individuals doing portraits. And I remember recently I had a family, and they said their big challenge was that they argue a lot. In fact, the reason the parents commissioned me to do their family portrait is they were seriously considering divorce, and they wanted to have an image to coalesce, why their family should stay together. Like they wanted to have a reminder of that. And when they talked about how much they argued and how much they hated it, their parents argue with each other, the kids argue with each other, the parents and kids argue. And I always hesitate and ask, before I ask people, well, so what's the gift in that? Because I can't imagine what's the gift in arguing all the time. But they have an answer. And the father in the family said, hardly a pause at all. I said, oh, you know what? Our kids are truly extraordinary at conflict resolution. Like when the other kids in school and the teachers know that, and they have different ways of doing it. Like our older son, who's 12, he will go into any situation when there's a fight going on or people are getting upset, and he knows how to break it up just by being really funny and making people laugh. And teachers actually call him over if a fight is brewing, because he can be relied on to just lower the temperature and get people relaxed so they're not fighting anymore. And the younger son has this amazing capacity to just get right down to what's really important. He will actually say, if somebody's arguing, his parents are arguing, whatever, he'll say, what do you really want? And that just like cuts it down to like all this history and stories are gone, and they just get to the heart of it, like right there. And the parents were talking about this extraordinary capacity their kids who are 12 and 9 have to deal with conflict. And they couldn't have gotten that if the family didn't do a lot of arguing. So they saw there really is a gift, that their legacy to their kids is this capacity to deal with conflict, which they couldn't have gotten any other way. And it's a gift they have to help other people. So that's an example of, actually I lost my train of thought. What is that example of? That's basically of how to help people get into, to see some of the qualities. Because fundamentally what I do with the portraits is there's certain key words that come out of our conversation that people either repeat or else that jump out at them and seem meaningful. Certain qualities which at peak moments of their lives and at their best is who they really are. And those, like in Landmark, we'd call them possibilities. And that's what I paint. I paint accurate visual representation of people lit up, but we also include in it images from their memories and their dreams and their whatever symbolic images resonate for them that are about these words. Because those words are, if you live by them, if you allow yourself to be called forth to be that more often, you become the people in the picture. It totally transforms your life, and I've discovered that for myself. Because when I painted my first picture, the first possibility portrait of myself, the words that I just gotten out of doing this Landmark advanced course were connection, freedom, and joy. And I have become that person out of seeing those words in front of me and living them more and more, more deeply and more deeply. Like I had no idea when I first came up with those words that connection would mean connection to spirit, to source. I didn't even know I believed in God. That was a total surprise. Or that freedom and joy would mean freeing myself from so many limiting beliefs and helping other people free themselves from them too.